We're back with another contest!
So this is going to be a Twitch-only contest. We want to get to 50 followers. If we get to 50 followers, we will be doing what we tried to do last time. We're going to be giving away a $25 Steam gift card during the stream following the contest. And if we happen to get to 60 followers, there will be more monetary prizes incoming.
So that contest is happening right now until August 22nd, 2021.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Cinematic Relief, our movie and TV podcast. I'm Thunder.
And I'm Lightning.
And today we watched The Suicide Squad.
Wait a minute.
Oh, did you watch the wrong movie?
Didn't that movie come out like 3 years ago?
Well, you'll see. If you'll notice, if you'll look at these two logos.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. If you'll look at these two logos.
Yeah.
One of them, if you squint really hard, has the word the.
Oh.
And that's literally the only difference with the two logos.
Okay.
So, what this movie presupposes is fuck that other movie.
Yeah.
Maybe it never existed. Who knows?
It really gives off the impression that it existed. It makes no difference if you've seen it to watch this movie.
Oh, yeah. He same thing with the Birds of Prey movie, which really should have just been called the Harley Quinn movie.
Yeah.
You don't have to see either of them to watch and enjoy this one.
Like, what I get from Suicide Squad to this movie is that was the first mission. Now there's multiple Suicide Squads, and we're just in the middle of that being a thing.
Right. That's if I can just get right into it, that's one of the things I really liked about this movie is that it was one mission. It was no more important or less important than the last mission or the next mission they're going to go on. This is exactly what you said. This is the Suicide Squad is now a fully operational task force, and this is one of their missions, and we get to see it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool.
I've got to say, if we're going to jump into it.
Yeah, go. Well, so hang on before you because I like to do this before we start. Chris, did you like it?
I liked it a hell of a lot more than I liked the original.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that goes without saying, but I do agree.
So here's the thing. I enjoyed my viewing experience.
Yeah.
The rewatchability for me isn't that high, and here's why.
Okay.
I've come to the conclusion that if I'm going to rewatch a movie, I need some sort of motivation. That motivation is typically a future film for me.
Okay.
And I'll use a different IP for an example. Star Wars.
Okay.
I've seen Force Awakens probably 10 times.
Yeah.
I've seen The Last Jedi maybe 3 or 4 times. I've seen The Rise of Skywalker once.
And you think, regardless of what you think of those movies, you think the main reason is because you know there's, for now, no more Star Wars? There's
no more Star Wars. Also, I liked Force Awakens. Then The Last Jedi came out, and everybody has mixed emotions about The Last Jedi.
I still love it. I thought it
was good, but it's just one of those things where it's like, here's the thing. I watched Last Jedi. I like Last Jedi. Then Rise of Skywalker comes out. I did not care for that movie. And now I don't think I've seen any of them since. Like, the watchability has gone down for me because I know what's next.
Okay.
As opposed to the prequels, which my favorite one is Revenge of the Sith, so I'm gonna catapult all the way through. Same thing with the original trilogy. The last one's my favorite. I don't think the last one has to be my favorite in order for me to watch all the way through.
So are you kind of saying like, okay, so right now we're waiting on a new Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Are you saying that like if you got in the mood to watch a Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, you would be more apt to watch Far From Home rather than Homecoming just because that's like where we left off and you're waiting for what's next? Is that what you mean?
Let me be a bit more clear. Let's switch over to Marvel.
Okay.
I'll watch any Marvel movie because they're good and they're consistently good for the most part, 90% of the time. And the rewatchability is there for me because I know what a good series this is.
Okay.
I can't say the same for the sequels to Star Wars.
Okay.
And when it comes to Suicide Squad, I can't say that for 90% of the DC films.
Right.
So I'll watch it if it's one of those things. I'd rewatch it if it's on and people are watching it, and I'll watch it because it was good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go out of my way to watch it again, I don't think. Having said that, James Gunn saved this IP, and he really made it his own, as he always does. It was a good movie. It was a good movie.
Yeah.
There were some fantastic shots I really liked. He as always, he did an incredible job, and it feels like a James Gunn film.
Right.
I don't think I'd go out of my way to continue watching it.
Here's what I'll say.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah,
I'm sorry.
no, that makes
Okay.
total sense. I just wanted to clarify for the sake of conversation and for the sake of the audience. But it does make sense. I understand where you're coming from. Here's what I've been saying, and here's kind of what I want to say about this new Suicide Squad movie. Was it better than the original? Obviously, yes.
Yeah.
It was way better than the original. Is it the best DC movie? Probably. That's not saying much. But
Right.
I'd have to probably say that it is, in fact, the best one. Yes. Is it the best James Gunn movie I've ever seen?
No.
Probably not.
I
still
came to the same conclusion.
I still think if you were like, what would you want to watch, The Suicide Squad or The Guardians of the Galaxy? I think I would still pick Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, it's not much coming from me, but it is the best DC film I've seen.
Yes, yeah.
The Suicide Squad.
Right.
There's definitely better James Gunn movies.
Yes, yeah,
that I would
want to
watch.
That being said, I agree with you. I really liked The Suicide Squad. I have a fuck ton to say about this movie.
I do too. When you're ready to get into it, I really want to talk about the opening.
Okay, yeah,
movie.
then then go for it.
Oh, okay. Extremely memorable.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I just saw it this morning, but like I can't when I'm thinking back to this film, that's the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
I was, because of advertising, I knew who to expect in this film.
Right.
And they start off with the 6-piece squad or whatever it was. I was like, oh, we're going to get more guys along the way. That's not what happened.
No.
Pretty much everybody dies.
Yeah.
And they
really
killed celebrities.
Oh my god, I know.
Right at the beginning, so
I
wasn't expecting it.
Listen, I know she keeps the javelin, and I know I could probably infer what he was going to do, but I wish he did anything before he died.
Yeah. Yeah.
He gets ready to throw, and then he gets shot. Like, arm fall off boy or whatever we're calling him nowadays.
I hated him.
Oh, really? You thought he was gross?
I did not like looking at him. Also, he got shot a bunch in the arms. I understand that hurts. I don't think it would kill you.
No, they had to have, like, gone and finished the job.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, like, everyone did a thing. Like, Captain Boomerang runs up, and I was like, oh, no, they're going to kill Captain Boomerang, which I thought was a pretty weird choice because he's a legacy character if there ever was one for this film. And then I was like, oh, wait, maybe he's going to be a total badass. And then he did one thing, and then he died.
Yeah.
Everyone except Blackguard.
And Weasel.
What?
And Weasel.
And Weasel did, like, one thing, and then they died. But the Javelin, or Javelin, I guess his name is, he didn't. He was about to, and then it was like, oh, well, he's okay.
That this movie really rings true to a James Gunn R-rated film, and the only one I can think of that I've ever seen is Super. It was fucking gross.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, James Gunn likes a certain level of violence in his movies, and this time he had Mega Million Corporation DC Comics behind him to let him do as much gore and as he wanted. Do you notice there was nudity in this film?
Yeah. Do you mean did I notice the full frontal of a man in front?
Yeah,
of me?
there was a
didn't need it.
There was a dude's dick. No, that scene would have survived without it.
Some butt scene. I saw some butts.
But
whatever.
If there's
I didn't
butts,
need this dude's penis in my face.
If there's butts, it's PG-13, right? But yeah,
that's one thing DC will do that Marvel won't. They'll make an R-rated movie,
right?
Although Marvel is making one, aren't they?
Are they? Which one?
I think Doctor Strange.
No, that's what everyone's worried about because it's going to be a horror film, but it's still PG-13.
Oh, right. Okay.
I don't know about you, but I'm still worried about if there's going to be a new Deadpool and if that's going to be rated R.
They already said it's going to be.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, okay, then
They already
cool.
said he's going to be able to do whatever the fuck he wants.
Oh, awesome. Good for them.
Essentially. That's the news I got.
Cool.
They got the big thumbs up. Deadpool's Deadpool. Fuck you.
Cool. Awesome.
But DC just doesn't care. I don't think it's...
DC
No, maybe it is just the Suicide Squad. That's where they put the raunchy stuff.
Yeah.
Or is it other places? I genuinely don't know.
The only two R-rated DCEU movies are this and Joker.
Oh, duh, Joker.
Well, and I guess technically the Snyder Cut is unrated, but there's not much gore. It's just language.
Okay.
Because Batman says the F word. Oh no, Batman! Sorry, I don't like the Snyder Cut.
That's fair. So DC's not afraid to go there.
No, I mean DC is definitely more like the cool aunt that'll like let you drink alcohol.
But then you don't want to hang out with her any other time unless she's giving you alcohol. That's DC.
Yeah.
Then she gets to like, hey, remember that one time? And you're like, yeah, I do. Just chill out. I'm 37 now, Aunt Linda. Can you just calm down?
I have my own alcohol, Aunt Linda. No, yeah, I don't know. This movie, who was your favorite character? Because it's one of those movies.
Yeah. That's tough. I definitely cared about Idris Elba the most.
Yes, okay, so I didn't expect Bloodsport to be basically the main character. And I was going to say, if you were like, here's mine, what's your favorite character? I was probably going to say Bloodsport. He was pretty cool. Also, it was very interesting when Idris Elba went up to another person and was like, let's go to Jotunheim. I was like, all right, Heimdall, open the Bifrost then. What are we doing?
Right. I was thinking that the whole movie.
It was like, you can't have Idris Elba say Jotunheim, followed by the words, let's go to. Like, I've seen this before. I've heard this before.
I feel like... So I loved Idris Elba's character. I really thought I was going to like that kid dyed his hair blonde for this movie.
Oh, Pete Davidson?
Yeah, I thought I was going to love his character. Didn't get the opportunity. He got his head blown off right at the beginning.
I have yet to look back, but I have a Suicide Squad video where I say, I bet these characters are going to die, and I want to see how accurate I was.
Yeah.
Because I nailed two of them at the very least. Pete Davidson and Flula Borg. Those two people, I was like, this is weird. They're probably going to kick it, and then they totally did. Pete Davidson had maybe 2 lines.
Yeah. No, and Mike Rooker's character seemed cool, but he died.
He didn't do shit. He didn't do anything.
No, he did nothing.
He killed a bird. He played with a ball.
He was in that movie because his good friend James Gunn made that, and he needs Michael Rooker in it. Not to say Michael Rooker couldn't have done a fantastic job. He obviously could have.
Yeah.
But it really felt like Michael Rooker was like, I have something I have to do, and James Gunn was like, well, you have to be in this movie.
Right. He's like, all right.
And then his cousin brother still showed up, which was cool.
He was playing Calendar Man. He was bald and he had the calendar around his head.
Oh, is that what it was around his head?
Yeah, he was playing Calendar Man. So Calendar Man, what's interesting about Calendar Man is he's from the Batman The Long Halloween. The Batman The Long Halloween was just recently, like, I think part 2 is coming out like next week. It was just turned into an animated film. And in the film, the voice of Calendar Man is David Dastmalchian, who played Polka Dot Man in the Suicide Squad movie.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Polka Dot Man.
Polka Dot Man was great. I thought Polka Dot Man...
Yeah.
Polka Dot Man, if I can... Spoilers. Polka Dot Man was the only death that I was upset about.
Yeah, same. Well, you know what was upsetting? He was the key to them destroying that thing for a hot second.
Yeah.
Because, like, he started fucking it up, and it's like, oh, man, here we go. Here's his moment.
The first person to damage Starro, the Conqueror.
Right. We were talking about favorite characters.
Yeah.
John Cena was cool.
John Cena was cool.
He was funnier in this than most things he tries to be in.
Yes. Yeah. I have a feeling the director had something to do with that. Did you see the after the credits scene? With
I
him?
did. I did.
I don't know if you knew this, but we've known this for a while. I mean, like, the news has known this for a while. He is having his own TV show.
Oh, really?
And when he died on camera, I was like, oh, okay, so it's going to be a flashback, but
Yeah.
clearly not. So I think that Steve Agee and those two women are going to be like the main character of whatever the Peacemaker TV show looks like. It's going to be odd having a Peacemaker TV show and not call it, like, it's not going to be about the Suicide Squad, I guess, which is like kind of the only time the Peacemaker shows up. By the way, if I may, tangent for a moment, the costuming in this movie, everybody looked perfect. Everybody looked exactly like they should. Harley Quinn, obviously she was in a dress for most of the movie. When she wasn't, when she was in her like get up from the beginning of the movie, she looked exactly like she does in Injustice. Even there's a part in the movie where all the characters like go to a club and they don like casual clothes. And then for one reason or another, Rick Flag ends up in those casual clothes for the rest of the movie. If you look up a picture of Rick Flag, that's his comic book costume.
Oh, really?
That yellow shirt with the gun strap. That's what he looks like in the comics. Like,
Oh, that's
they
funny.
crushed it with like Peacemaker looks perfect, Bloodsport looks perfect.
Well, that's James Gunn.
Well, see, I would argue that I had some issues with Guardians of the Galaxy. Drax is supposed to have green in him.
Yeah.
Gamora's eyes are supposed to be more yellow. Rocket Raccoon has never worn what he wears in the comics. And I had zero complaints with the costuming in the Suicide Squad. I thought literally everybody looked perfect.
Well, I will say one thing with DC that you don't see in Marvel, and I like the Marvel's approach better, is DC wants things comic book accurate. Marvel wants things realistic.
Yeah.
And I
You
like
could
Marvel's
definitely-
approach better.
You could definitely see that. That's like a big actual like side plot in all of Captain America's appearances.
Yeah.
Where he looks dumb and then he like gets his like army outfit and then he like at the end of the Avengers he has to put the like weird this isn't going to protect me armor back on.
Right.
No, you're right.
No, it's just two different approaches that James Gunn. Somebody definitely told him, listen, we try to be comic book accurate here.
Right.
And somebody definitely told him in Marvel, listen, we want a realistic interpretation of these comic book
Right.
characters.
Someone
It's
also
just two different approaches.
Someone also definitely told him you can have and also kill any characters you want.
Oh, for the Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Of course they did.
Which I think so I was talking to you about this a little. Separate from the movie, I started reading the newest run of the Suicide Squad comic, and they literally did this. The first issue was a mission led by Peacemaker, and literally everyone dies except Peacemaker, and then very tail end of issue 1, in comes the characters who are going to be the mainstay characters for the rest of the series.
That's cool. No, I like I said, the beginning of this movie I think is going to be very iconic. I also think it's the same did they not do that in the first movie? Kill everybody off like immediately?
No, they killed one dude.
Oh, that's
They
what it
killed,
was.
I believe his name was Slipknot, the man who can climb anything, and that's the
Yes,
only backstory
yes.
we're going to give about him. He tried to, Captain Boomerang was like, escape, mate, and he was like, okay, and then he did, and like no lines later, his head explodes off camera. You get to see it explode this time. Michael Rooker's head
Right.
explodes on camera, which
Right.
is the difference between PG-13 and R.
No, I mean James Gunn nailed that, and I wouldn't have been. So there was a moment at the beginning of this film that I thought James Gunn was gonna do something, and had he done it, I think I would have applauded him.
Okay.
It wasn't necessary, and I don't mean to be mean about it. I just thought it would have been the ballsiest move he could have made. I thought Harley Quinn was dying in the opening scene of the Suicide Squad.
I never did because I have a feeling she's one of the characters who's off limits.
She must be. I think he would.
It seems like she might be the only character in the film who's off limits because even Rick Flag dies.
Yeah,
That's his name, right? Rick Flag?
something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. I think she's the only character they have like bigger plans for.
Well, they're basing. She's like the Mickey Mouse of this DC universe right now. They want it all about her. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yes,
I know me and you have things we got to say about that, but I thought it would be a ballsy move. She's
I
been
thought it
in
was-
like what 3 or 4 movies
This
now?
is her third movie.
Okay, just kill her. I thought why not? What are they going to make a third Suicide Squad movie?
I mean, who knows? You can only hope now because this. New
Yeah,
one,
if they hang on to James Gunn,
yeah,
they might get another director, and I promise you, it will not feel the same as this film.
no, of course, no. I think if there's gonna be whatever we want to fucking call it, the Suicide Squad 2, I guess is what it could be called. Just keep naming it dumb. Like call this one our Suicide Squad or some shit. I think it has to be with James Gunn. I think they can't go back to not James Gunn after letting James Gunn have his way with the Suicide Squad.
No, I mean that would be my thought process, but who knows over at DC Cinematic
Yeah,
Universe.
they never
do what you want them to do.
I was just gonna say they never announce. They don't have a plan like Marvel
No.
does. Falcon and the Winter Soldier ends. Falcon turns into Captain America. They that afternoon announced Captain America 4 starring
Right.
those two characters.
The fact
like
that
they
you
have
said,
a whole
yeah,
plan, you
No,
know.
exactly.
And it seems like DC is like, let's wait till the movie comes out, and then that's why their movies never like. That's why Marvel has like 6 movies a year, and DC has like 1 or 2 because they're like, well, maybe the Suicide Squad movie won't do good, and then it does great, and they're like, okay, now let's greenlight a new one, maybe.
Well, beyond that, just in the storytelling, the fact that they thought ahead to make a Peacemaker TV show blows my fucking
Oh
mind.
yeah,
Are you
yeah.
shitting me? They actually thought ahead and said, let's give this dude a TV show? Not who
Yeah.
I expected to give a TV show to, but they
No,
did.
you'd
And they
think
actually
that-
thought ahead.
You'd think that. Also, you'd think that John Cena would be too busy, so
I
they must
think
be
he-
shelling out some money.
Yeah, well, I think this is the career he wants.
Right.
He's done wrestling, and
You've
now
seen
he
him-
wants to do films.
You've seen him in interviews, right, with the Peacemaker.
I've heard that he did that. I never
He
watched
literally,
it.
I saw a clip of an interview, and it was with Shaq, and Shaq like did a wrestling thing recently, and Shaq was like asking John Cena like, "How did I do wrestling? Did you watch it?" And John Cena was like, "Yeah, it was good. This, that." Meanwhile, he's dressed in full Peacemaker costume the whole time. The interview has nothing to do with the Suicide Squad, and James Gunn retweeted it and was like, "I'm not telling him to do this."
Yeah. I think he's fucking hyped. I think he got to do a movie with a very well accredited director who might turn around slightly the DC
Yeah.
universe, and I think John Cena knows all of this information and is like, I might not make it to Marvel, but I got my foot in the door here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go all out for this dude, and maybe he loves the character and loves what James Gunn is doing with him.
Yeah. I mean, I can say I do.
Yeah, no, Peacemaker was funny. He was good. You know who I wasn't disappointed in, but I was definitely like, I see what you're going for. You didn't quite do it. Was Sylvester Stallone.
Okay. Really?
I thought it really felt like he was trying to be like a Groot that speaks,
Yeah.
and like I'm sure James Gunn kind of wrote him that way.
Right.
There were some great scenes. Okay, he definitely executed well for a lot of the stuff.
yeah.
There were some scenes where I was like, oh, this is Sylvester Stallone in a booth just saying the
Yeah.
words that are in front of him as plainly as he can, 'cause
I mean,
that's
here's
how
the-
this character is.
Here's the deal, right? Say what you will about his performance, and I don't mean to offend the guy. I love Sylvester Stallone. He's an incredible director, and
Yeah.
he remains an incredible director, even in his old age. But he's got a dumb voice, and they got dumb voice guy to voice dumb voice thing.
I guess there's he has some sort of issue that makes him sound that way.
Okay.
You're right. He's got a
Yeah.
weird voice.
No, I was just saying, like, I think they picked the perfect voice.
Oh yeah,
for King
no,
Shark.
he. If I was doing this, he'd definitely be on the list of people I'd want to have.
Yeah.
You know who I would get?
Who?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's kind of the same.
It's the
yeah,
same vibe.
Yeah. No,
but,
I get that.
But no, he got Sylvester Stallone, which they got to be fucking friends, right?
Because he was in
That's-
Guardians
yeah.
2. He had a bit part in Guardians 2 as well.
And I'm sure that was a day and a half from
Right,
the booth
yeah,
for
there's-
Sylvester Stallone.
There's no way that King Shark took more than a day, more than 3 or 4 hours
Yeah.
to record everything.
So, Sylvester Stallone did a good job. He honestly, I liked his character better in Guardians of the Galaxy. Acting wise, I liked his acting better in Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, he's a good actor. I like Sylvester. I feel like there's like this weird like, that guy's old. No, I like Sylvester Stallone.
No,
I
he
don't
always
know.
does a good job.
Yeah.
Always does a good job. And in this movie, he did a good job too. But there were just some points where I was like, there was a disconnect, and I was
No,
like,
that
this
makes
is just
sense.
Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, he's not. He's only dipped into voice acting. So
Just a handful of times. Right?
Yeah, he was the big cop robot in the Ratchet and Clank movie, but not the game. Like the movie that the game we played was based off, but Sylvester Stallone wasn't in the game. He was just in the movie. I think he was in Ants, right? Sylvester Stallone was in Ants.
Maybe.
Ants with a Z. Ants with a Z by DreamWorks. I don't know why I started talking like Dane Cook. Can we talk about Harley Quinn? Would you
sure.
indulge me? Allow me to talk about Harley Quinn for a moment.
Yeah.
So, okay, Suicide Squad comes out 2016, right? I go to see it. I'm excited for it. I hate it. It's terrible. I find out I'm not alone, and everyone hated it. People ask me why I hated it. Don't you love Harley Quinn? And I say, well, Harley Quinn was the worst fucking part. Harley Quinn sucked. And I don't know what Margot Robbie was thinking or whoever told her to act that way. You know, there was clearly some, now that it's been out for a few years, we know about the, like, there were some disagreements had. Margot Robbie, if she had her way, would have definitely been more clothed in that movie.
Right.
And it seems like she did get her way with the Birds of Prey movie, which, wouldn't you know, Harley Quinn is a little better. She's not, I know you haven't seen it.
Right.
But she wasn't, like, great, but she was, like, non-offensive. It went from like a incredibly poor performance to like a non-offensive one. It's almost like they had a female director and writer for the Harley Quinn movie, for the all-female led Birds of Prey Harley Quinn movie. And then cut to the Suicide Squad. Is she absolutely perfect now? No. Is she like, she's sort of on the same level, I'd say, as the Birds of Prey movie, maybe a little bit better.
Okay.
That's the point I'm trying to make, is that, like, I love Harley Quinn. Everyone knows that. She's my favorite fictional character. And she was fine in this movie. Margot Robbie did a fine job. Whoever directed her did a fine job.
She wasn't overly offensive in this movie.
No. And the other thing is, she was a side character in a movie made up entirely of side characters. And she didn't, like, she knew her place as a character. And she didn't make the movie all about her, and it didn't feel like she was trying to make the movie all about her.
Well, I think James Gunn made the movie not all about her.
Right, exactly. No, I just mean, like, sometimes Harley Quinn is very like, and now the scene's about me.
Yeah.
And I didn't get that, and I think that was pretty, like, I think Harley Quinn's place in this movie was well put.
Oh, I agree. Well, I think that's part of the reason why it was, like I said, I haven't seen the Birds of Prey movie.
Right.
But from what I've saw from Suicide Squad to this movie, it really feels like James Gunn said, you know what your issue is? You're always in the spotlight, and you don't do a New Jersey accent sometimes, so we're going to make you not in the spotlight for this whole movie, and it paid off.
Yeah.
I was really expecting this movie to be Harley Quinn and the gang, and I didn't get that feeling, which was cool. I also think that's in part why you think she did very well, because she wasn't front and center.
Right.
I think had she been, we might be having a different discussion.
Right.
What I noticed was she cannot hold a fucking accent down, no matter what.
Yeah, that's...
This time she did it like maybe 65% of her scenes had the accent.
Yeah.
The other half didn't, or the other whatever amount didn't.
Right. And say what
and
you will.
there's still no explanation.
People, like... No one official, but people have said, like, that maybe it's intentional, like, because she's, like, the person she was, and now she's Harley Quinn. And they've actually done that before in the Batman Telltale series when Harley shows up. They literally make mention to be like, did you notice that sometimes she has an accent and sometimes she didn't? It's because her brain is whatever. But, like, until I get a hard confirmation of that, like, it's just Margot Robbie not being able to keep an accent.
Even if we get a hard confirmation now, 3 movies in, it's just going to feel like they're backpedaling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They did it. They almost, like, because they recently did this with Marvel with Scarlet Witch, and they did it the right way. They were like they explained why her accent went away, and like now it's back, sort of. I don't know. It was if they did something like that, then maybe. But I agree. I think if in this
Even
movie
that's
someone
backpedaling.
No, I know, but they backpedaled in a way that made me
they did
feel
it
not
right.
bullshit about it.
Right.
And
right.
I feel like I appreciate that they didn't try to do that with Harley Quinn, because I do agree it would have felt a little like, okay, well, don't like, she did bad the first time. Don't like try and convince me she didn't. There was a line I wanted to talk about.
Was it when they're in the plane and she mentions accents, and then she hasn't had an accent up till that point, and then after she mentions it, she does?
Wow, you're really like upset about the accent. It seems.
No, I really, I wasn't being funny. There's literally a scene where she says,
she's talking about
we don't have
Flula's
accents, and then instantly, for the first time in the movie, I hear her New Jersey accent. I really thought at that point it was intentional.
That was right. I forgot about that, because that was a joke about accents, right? Because she was like, I don't have an accent, but she totally does. That's the joke.
Yeah. But I don't know if it was a joke or she just finally kicked in that accent. Sorry, I really thought that's what you were going to talk about.
No, it wasn't. I actually forgot about that. That was an interesting, because that was almost like a meta joke, because Flula Borg has a real, that's how he talks in real life. He has a very distinct accent. And I honestly, I thought it was fake for a good few years. I was like, oh, this is his stage voice.
Yeah.
But no, that's how he talks. So that was almost like a meta joke on how cool Flula's accent is, because it's just like what he sounds like. No, there was a line that Harley Quinn said that was absolutely perfect. There was a line that she said that I was like, she nailed it for once. That was something that Harley Quinn would say that felt like it was ripped right from the new Stephanie Phillips run of Harley Quinn. And it was when they were interrogating, it was part of the trailer. The one thing I will say about this movie, it suffers from too many things were in the trailers. But it's the scene where they're interrogating the Thinker, and they're like, if you step out of line, you die. If you do this, you die.
Oh, yeah.
There's a part where she's saying all that dumb stuff that she says in the trailer, and then she's like not part of the conversation anymore, and then Rick Flag and Bloodsport are still interrogating him. And then in the background, you see Harley Quinn, and she goes, I am walking back and forth.
Yeah.
And I was like, not only did I find that hilarious, I was like, that was perfect. That was something Harley Quinn would say. Because here's the thing, and you and I were talking about this off mic. Harley Quinn is not dumb. Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn is a little dumb.
Yeah.
So that line, the I'm walking back and forth line, it wasn't just dumb, it was silly. And sometimes Harley Quinn will just do things to be silly.
Right.
When she's not being, when she's not beating someone up or being serious or like being melancholy or something, she'll take a moment to be silly for no reason. And I really loved that line. I thought that someone, James Gunn or Margot Robbie or somebody, got it for a moment.
Yeah, no, well, there's a distinct difference between being insane and silly and being stupid.
Right.
And I feel like, and James Gunn definitely went along with the personality that the original Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey went with.
Right.
Not to his own, I mean, if he had gone a different route, it just kind of would have added to the DC chaos of what is canonical, what isn't. So I don't blame him there, but somebody fucked up with her personality traits.
Back in 2015. Yeah, totally.
My understanding of Harley Quinn is she is psychotic and silly, similar to the Joker. The Joker's not a dumbass,
but
the Joker's insane.
But Harley Quinn's sanity relies on her connection to the Joker, and like if the farther away she is from the Joker, the more she like uses her PhD as part of her superpowers.
Yeah.
And that's not present in Birds of Prey or this movie, even though those are the two, like, I'm not with the Joker anymore movies.
Right.
The Birds of Prey movie, which is called Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn, it should just be called Harley Quinn, I'm not with the Joker anymore. Like, it's no reason to call it Birds of Prey. I know they sort of show up in the movie, but, like, it's a Harley Quinn movie. She's the main character.
Okay. But yeah, that's my thoughts on her. She's gotten better.
That's the thing. Like
I don't think this character can be perfect.
That's the thing. I was just about to say that. I think she's gotten as good as she can get. I think she's still a little annoying. The line where she's like, "It's like angels are splooshing all over us." I was like, "Why did you say that? I don't like this part of you.
Yeah.
I don't like your character for a number of reasons. But I think she's gotten as good and as non-offensive as she can. I think if she's going to get any better, she's going to have to be rebooted with a different actress. Not saying it's Margot Robbie's fault. At this point, it's a number of people's faults. But I think that this version of this character is ruined, and I think we've fixed it as much as we can. There was also a line, I thought it was so stupid. It was the only line in the movie that was like this at all, where Harley gets on the plane and Captain Boomerang, in his only speaking line of the whole movie, says, "Harley, what are you doing back in jail?" And she says, I forget what she said, but she gives a weird excuse like, "Oh, here I am again." And it's like, yeah, I get it. You wanted to make a Suicide Squad movie, but you made that fucking Birds of Prey movie where she's not in the Suicide Squad anymore for some reason. So you kind of have to do it like this.
Well, that be DC.
No, I know.
There was another stupid line that actually made me hate this character until the end of the film. But the girl who controls rats,
Yeah.
she's a lazy piece of shit till the end of the movie.
Yeah.
For some reason, and they started us right off with like, oh, she's a millennial, she sucks. And I was like,
Right.
oh, great. And then the entire movie up till the end where she's the fucking hero,
Right.
I was like, this character sucks. I don't like this character.
Oh, really? Just because that one line?
Well, just because that's the vibe they gave her of like she doesn't give a shit. She's a lazy piece of shit.
I took when Peacemaker said millennials, am I right, or whatever he said, I didn't take that as that's right. You're supposed to think Ratcatcher's a piece of shit. I took that as John Cena's a boomer, the Peacemaker's a boomer, and he doesn't know like that's what he's blaming it on that, but that's probably not the issue.
Okay.
Because that's whenever someone says, "Oh, millennials," right? What they really mean to say is, "I have a problem with this person, and I'm going to blame it on the fact that they are a millennial."
Oh, no,
even though the problem I have is more deep seated, and if I just talked about it with anybody at all, I would realize that the problem is me and not the millennials.
You are absolutely correct. But sometimes you got to wonder, do the people even writing this shit come to that conclusion?
I think they did because the people writing this shit was writing team of James Gunn.
No, I know. Well, that's what made me like, oh man, really?
Right.
Like literally that line happened and I was like, oh fuck, really? And then she continued to be like that. I was like, if that's the one line and then she's just a normal ass character, fine, but then she fucking wasn't.
Right.
So that's where my head was at. But no, you bring up a good point. Maybe he's so beyond.
Yeah, no, I heard that line, and I too heard the word millennial being used like that, and I was like, okay, but then I was like, I think this is intentional. I think we're supposed to come to the conclusion that if between those two lines, the person who's in the wrong is Peacemaker.
Yeah.
And we're gonna see that Ratcatcher's no different anti-hero than the rest of them.
Right.
Amanda Waller, by the way, wanted Harley Quinn and Rick Flag to die. She did not give a shit because they were on team bitch. They were on team die on the beach, cause a distraction.
I'm sorry. Who?
Amanda Waller, the leader.
Oh yeah. No, she didn't want them to live.
She put them on. And then the real team with Peacemaker and Bloodsport and King Shark.
No, fucking. James Gunn, once again, making a bigger point. Harley Quinn was on the fucking B team.
Yeah.
She was literally on the Suicide Squad. They weren't supposed to survive.
Right. Yeah, it's almost like, that's interesting. It's almost like in that moment, they were the Suicide Squad and they were Task Force X. Like, they had a job. Their job was to die.
Right.
And their job was to actually do a mission. It's interesting. It's interesting that Rick Flag was on the bitch team.
Yeah.
Because, like, sure, put Harley there. I don't care. But Rick Flag's, like, the one who's not a prisoner. He's like...
Well, yeah. No, that was crazy because there's just... If and when they do make another Suicide Squad movie, there are questions that I know DC doesn't give a shit about that need to be answered from this movie.
Yeah.
Like, she let them all die.
Right.
One of her subordinates fucking knocked her ass out.
Yeah.
And I really expected that to be standoff. Like, I figured she'd get up, fucking pull a gun on all of them. I was like, something's going to happen. You don't just do that and we're all hunky-dory with it. But then we were.
Right.
So, definitely some questions intentionally set up, that I don't think we'll get answers to because I don't think DC cares that much.
No, it was and that's another thing. Something that this movie had that was missing from the first movie was that it had a couple scenes. I mean, it had two, but it had a couple scenes where Amanda Waller's got the buttons, and you're like, oh my god, she could just kill him at any moment, and it's like actually suspenseful.
Yeah.
Whereas like in the last one, I think the last one is like they're saving her, and they don't realize she's saving her, so she's like on the scene, and she's like, I've got the detonator right here, you bitches. And it's
from
like
the first film?
from the first Suicide Squad film, yeah. And it like doesn't have the same
effect
level. Yeah, it doesn't have the same effect. I feel like Mr. James Gunn,
Yeah.
who still hasn't emailed us.
No, hasn't emailed us. I wasn't going to mention it, but you mentioned it.
Well, I mean, if he's listening, might as well. James, baby, Jimmy, my man. What if he was listening and he's like, nope, they called me Jimmy. I can't with people who call me Jimmy. He definitely tried to make a movie about the Suicide Squad that made you have the same feelings that you're supposed to feel when you read the Suicide Squad. And
Okay.
I think he was successful, and not many people are successful. I feel like people forget that these and by people I mean fans and the people making it. I feel like they forget that these characters are based off of legacy comic book characters, right? In these movies. So I feel like with Marvel, it's hit or miss. I feel like Iron Man 1 feels like you're flipping pages of a comic book, right? But I feel like maybe something like Ant-Man 1 or Age of Ultron is a little like, this is kind of just an action
More
movie.
cinematic, yeah.
It's sort of just an action movie with a superhero coat of paint, you know? And I feel like the comic book movies that really shine through are the ones that feel like they've just been adapted straight from a comic book, whether they were or not. And like Infinity War feels like that. To bring it back on topic, Guardians of the Galaxy feels like that. And I think for the first time in the DC EU history, the Suicide Squad feels like that.
Yeah.
I think it was good. I would give Suicide Squad, the David Ayer Suicide Squad, I'd give that about a 3 out of 10 because it was, in fact, a movie. I think I'd give Birds of Prey a 6 out of 10, and I think I would give The Suicide Squad a 9 out of 10.
Wow. See, to me, the way I scale movies is out of 5, right?
Sure.
With
it is.
The Avengers?
Yeah.
To me, that's like a 4.5. I'm pretty sure I gave Endgame a 4.5. So that's a bit too rich for my blood for this movie.
I'd check, but no phone.
No, right. I'd say I'd give this movie like a 3.5.
Okay.
75%.
And what would you give David Ayer's Suicide Squad out of 5?
I don't fucking remember that movie. If I can be completely... If that gives you an answer, that movie was non-memorable for me. I remember the dude blew up, and I was like, oh, shit, that was quick. That was the only memorable part of that movie for me.
Do you want to know what I definitely remember about that movie? Is that somewhere along the line, Will Smith lost a job. Because he was in the Suicide Squad.
Oh, yeah.
He was Deadshot, and they got Idris Elba to play Deadshot, and then they were like, no, just kidding, he's going to play someone else. And then they picked a way cooler character that I had no idea, like I had no knowledge of this character.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Call the characters what you want. Idris Elba replaced Will Smith.
Oh, yeah. No, he did.
Yeah.
The news was Idris Elba to play Deadshot, and then the news was Idris Elba to play somebody else, and Will Smith's still not attached. The only characters in this movie that I knew about going into it were Harley and Flag and Captain Boomerang, because they're from the first one, King Shark, and Polka Dot Man. I think that's it. And Starro. I didn't know about anyone else.
Yeah.
Also, the Thinker, I was excited to see what he did, and then he did nothing.
Yeah.
He looked cool.
Yeah, he looked really cool.
And I was very nervous about, like, I noticed late into the movie that his nodes are connected by wires, and I was like, it would not take that much to snip those.
No.
And I thought he was going to, like, I was ready for him to, like, shoot a laser beam out of his skull or something, but nah, he just died.
Yeah.
He was kind of the villain of sorts. I don't know. I love the bit with the dude with Milton where he dies.
Yeah.
Because you see him and you're like, why is he still with them for this? And then fucking Idris Elba's like, Milton was still with us? But then, even then, that scene was really cool. But then they kind of ruin it because later on, Harley Quinn is like, I thought your name was Milton.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you didn't. Why are you dumb?
Right.
Why is Harley Quinn dumb? That's the part I don't
No,
understand.
I wasn't gonna mention it, but I felt the same way. Where it was
No,
like,
I'm not going to sit here and say that the Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn isn't sometimes the worst part of a given scene.
Yeah.
But I will also follow that up with she's been doing, for whatever reason, she's been doing better and
Sure,
better. And
sure.
I think what we says stays true. I think this character is as best as it will be.
Right.
And we can't change much more without rebooting a character.
See, I think we agreed on that topic a lot more than we thought we were gonna. I really was expecting you to be like, wasn't she one of the best parts of the movie?
No, I mean,
I was
she-
really gonna be like, no, she wasn't. Even James Gunn didn't think she was gonna be.
No, James Gunn knows what he's working with. You know, when he announced the cast list and he announced that Margot Robbie was still going to be in it, I was like, good luck. I was like, I don't know why. Like, you changed everything else. I don't know why she has to come back.
Right.
So, but I have faith in you, I guess. And then I saw the trailer and I was like, okay. And then I saw the movie and now I'm like, okay. Like, I get it. Like, she wasn't the best part. She wasn't a scene stealer like she usually tries to be.
Yeah.
She was just...
Also, I'm sorry, time out. Margot Robbie, sometimes a very good actor. She did fantastic in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
See, that's the thing. Margot Robbie's a good actress. She's just not doing a good job as Harley Quinn.
And honestly, a lot of it... 'Cause here's the thing. I won't fault the woman for the writing. The writing's the writing. They did a shit job in the first one, and now that's her personality traits.
Right.
You got to deal with it.
Right.
But you can work on delivery, and you can work on holding an accent
Maintaining
down.
an accent, yeah.
And those are two things that are 100% on her that she should work on for this character.
Yeah. See, I feel like before WandaVision, there was like Elizabeth Olsen was sat down and she was like, we got to figure out this accent. You have to keep it for these scenes. Obviously, don't have it for these scenes, but you've got to work on it. That conversation, I will argue, happened way too late.
Right.
But it happened, and I don't think it happened with Margot Robbie. I think we're just letting her do her own thing and
Right.
letting the fans decide whether she was good at it or not.
She wasn't.
Not at the accent part. No, definitely not. 100% putting my foot down. The accent is bad. Either have it or don't, but please have it. And
Right.
you don't have it all the time.
I
Also,
feel-
I'm waiting for, and I don't know why they haven't done this yet, but I'm waiting for live action DCEU Harley to like go out with a girl. Like one of Harley's defining features, like character, decisions in her like the last 10 years has been that she's bisexual
Yeah.
and that she like dates boys and girls, but like ever since the Joker, mostly girls.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe if they do, because this one was very much like, she had the whole like, I said if I got bad vibes from a dude I was dating, I would kill him and
Right.
all that stuff. So maybe if they do another thing with Harley Quinn, then they'll delve into that because Poison Ivy hasn't shown up yet,
Right.
live action. So I don't know, but I really thought I was surprised when she was like, "Time to have sex with this dude" in this movie. I was like, "Oh, interesting. We're still doing this."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah. I don't know. So yeah,
You're the Harley fan, so I'm just thumbs up. You're
oh
right.
yeah.
I'm sure you're right.
No, I mean, I think that's it. I liked it. I liked it a lot. You talked about rewatchability. I think I'm probably going to rewatch this movie again in the next coming weeks.
Cool.
I'm a big rewatcher, and I know you are too. But
Yeah.
like, I watched Infinity War maybe 7 or 8 times before Endgame came out because every time I watched it, I would notice something new, or I would like cry, get a little more emotional, or something. So I don't know. I like to watch movies that I really like over and over again, and this movie is definitely one that has a lot of details that I'm sure I didn't notice the first time around. Can't wait to see that dick again.
Well, there's that. I think I'm just not invested enough in these characters. I think DC's hurt me on a personally.
No, I mean that makes sense.
On a number of levels.
And
that
who
I'm
knows?
like,
Maybe you will be. What am I trying to say? Maybe the Peacemaker show is really good, and then
maybe
you
it is.
fall in love with him, and then you're like, oh, I gotta watch the Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
again.
maybe I will. That's the thing is not enough things are enticing me to want to watch this movie again.
Right? Yeah, exactly. No, I get that.
And that's the thing is if they come out the next Star Wars movie they come out with,
Yeah.
if it's post episode 9,
Yeah.
I'll probably watch those 3 again. Like, I need
Oh, yeah.
something to motivate me.
Yeah.
If there's something I wasn't that into, I need something to motivate me to watch them again.
If I'm being honest, I know I said I liked it a lot. The thing that's motivating me to give this another watch is that I have about 25 more days, and then it's off HBO Max.
Oh, sure. There you go.
So I know I said I liked it a lot, but that really is the biggest reason I'm going to try and sit down and rewatch it again. Maybe find someone who hasn't seen it and watch it with them or something.
That's fair.
But I will say, thank you for sticking around till the end. This movie's definitely not for everybody.
No.
It's very gross. It's very gory. Like people get shot in the face and you see the whole thing. It's just very like, if you've ever seen a James Gunn film other than Guardians, and if you've ever been someone who's like, I do not want to watch a James Gunn film because of how violent I've heard they are, this is one of them. And I would suggest steering clear. If you're okay with that, go ahead and watch it because it's.
And then go watch Super.
And then watch Super, and then
watch Brightburn.
Watch Brightburn. I was just about to say that. If you want. James Gunn has made a hilariously large number of superhero movies.
Yeah.
And they're all great. I think Guardians of they're obviously
Indie or not.
Yeah, I think some of them are obviously better than others, but I think Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2 and
this motherfucker loves superhero movies.
Oh, I know.
I know that's a silly thing to say, but there's 4 separate IPs. We didn't even have to stretch to find all 4 of them.
Do you think that was the goal? Do you think he was like, I'll make indie horror until someone lets me make a superhero movie? Because even when he was making
a huge nerd like us, and he's like he has talent for this, and somebody let him do it.
Because even when he was just making indie horror films, he still made a superhero movie.
Yeah,
it's called Super, and it's a superhero movie about people who don't have superpowers. And then he made Brightburn, which is a horror film, but it's basically the Superman origin story, except what if Superman was from hell and worshipped Satan and stuff?
Yeah.
It's
yeah, it is.
It's also incredibly short. It's like an hour and 20 minutes or something like that.
And it's incredibly good, and it's incredibly gross.
And it's gross, yeah, but it's also scary. But no, it's I don't know. He makes a lot of really great superhero movies, and I could say that now that he's made fucking 5 of them. And this one's really good. I hyped this movie up a lot. And I was like a half hour into this movie, I was like, man, I hope I didn't ruin it for myself, putting it on a pedestal. But I didn't. It wasn't the best movie I've ever seen, but it was good. It was as good as I thought it was going to be. You know, it was. I think it's worth a watch. If you were someone who, like me and Chris, saw the original Suicide Squad movie and you said "fuck, god damn it," and then you threw up for 3.5 hours. Watch this movie because it's actually good. And I think that'll do it for us.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. Weasel's still alive, and we'll see you next time.
And I've been Thunder.
And I'm Lightning.
And what he said. We'll see you next time. Thank you for listening and watching. And if you like what you see, please be sure to subscribe.
Our channel is daily uploads from podcasts to video essays, Let's Plays to skits.
Be sure to find us on Twitch and Patreon.
Our theme song is Sunny Day by Froggy and the Friendship, and our Let's Play intro is Sunny Bit by the same band.
Link to all these in the description below. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.